4 years. So long. We're not going to have it around anymore.
That'd be good.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. So you got to work on the messaging on all that because it's a lot of pushback on that, especially from a lot of the people that are entrenched. It's a what are they called, the prisoners of the past. Steve Briscoe, my guy, we know all about this. I had the opportunity, me and Nicole, my wife of 21 years, we had the opportunity to have dinner with Newton Callista Gingrich a couple weeks ago. So it falls in the category of the surreal because I got to sit for an hour and a half with me and Newt. And so we talked a lot. I don't call him Newt, I call him Speaker Gingrich. He hasn't invited me to call him Newt yet. But we got 30 minutes into that. He said, I wasn't going to take this meeting. I called the guys out in D.C. and asked them what they thought about you. And they said, yeah, definitely go meet with them. He goes, and I didn't care about this race, but you know what? I am caring about it now, and I think you can beat Durbin, and I'm going to help you. And so he's been sending emails out to people in Illinois, and just last week we had this two-hour session, like a group Skype kind of thing, and this whole learning process of just him talking about some of these different breakthroughs out there, which is one of his new book is Breakout. Yeah. I've read it. I should remember the title. I was going to say breakthrough. But some great ideas in there. But that's where we can go with a lot of these different things when we talk about the future. All right. So let's talk about the budget. All right, the federal budget. Anybody here think we should balance that thing? Should we get to balancing the federal budget? If we could get to a place where we said, let's do some real entitlement reform for my generation and younger. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, my generation and younger. We would be able to get to a place where we said, hey, it's finally under control, because it's out of control right now. We've got to do something different. We're getting close now to generational theft. We got to make sure that we don't charge people a higher tax rate to pay for somebody else's benefits. Okay, so we got to be careful, especially talking to the youth, younger people. Say, hey, we can't do this. And then who else here thinks that, when you send off your federal withholding, I always feel like I look at that number and about 40% of it's just wasted. Is that a correct number? That's how I feel. So if you could get to a place where you're wasting less money than you're taking in, and do the reform of the entitlements that we have, then each of us here today could look at our kids and our grandkids in the eye and say to them, I am not going to pass on a debt burden to you that is immoral and make you pay for all the things that we did. Because that bothers the heck out of me, because I know what's coming. You do the math on some of this, and my kids now, over just a couple first years of their working lives, I think it's $53,000 or something of just what we're doing now. It's just not right. Okay, so we need to do something different there. There's no doubt about it. So those are the areas where we could really have a better, brighter future, a more dynamic, prosperous future. It's out there. We just got to get it. The problem is Dick Durbin's living in the past, okay, and he's not going to change. Newsflash, he's not going anywhere. If he gets reelected, he's going to keep doing exactly what he's been doing, and he's going to, embrace that liberal 1960s ideology, no matter how many times it fails. So we got to go a different way. So here's how we do it. So this is when you're talking to your independent-minded friends, or your kind of, somewhat not engaged Republicans that you need to get out there, even the Democrats the 8 Democrats you have in your precinct. You can talk to them. You can say, hey, Dick Durbin, he went out there, he left Illinois, went to D.C., he tried, it just didn't work out. He didn't get the results. It's okay. It's okay. He can move on now. We can do something different. And you can say to them, hey, but if you like Obamacare, Durbin's your guy.
Yeah. Right?
If you like a massive debt, $17 trillion and only going up, Durbin's your guy. If you think 8.9% unemployment in Illinois, probably a reality of about 15% unemployment across the country is okay, and a continually underperforming economy, Durbin is your guy. So go down that path with him. All right. But we need to be talking about the future, and where we can go from innovation and staying positive and building that out, because it's right there. They are engaged in the past, we can be engaged in the future. And make it not so much about right versus left, but past versus future. And I think this Obamacare deal is going to be case in point, example number 1. Top down, out of control government class pushing something on us, and if you don't conform, they're going to fine you. All right, so that is, they have pushed their concepts to the wall, and it has hit the wall. Because I tell you, when the website works, that's just, okay. I laugh about the website too. Okay, they can get that thing to work. The pricing, the math does not work. All right, so this is going to keep rolling, and because I do this for a living, I do know that in starting really in June and July, a lot of employers, not every employer, many of you work at companies are going to keep your benefit plans in place, but they're going to start saying to their employees, you know, you go on those exchanges and you guys figure it out. And we thought 5 million people getting health insurance canceled was a big deal. Try about 15 million. All right, people getting pushed out on exchanges when people already know, oh, it's not a good idea to go out on the exchange. All right, so that's all coming through. So we need to be talking this way about the future of healthcare as opposed to what we've got now, because that is going to be the case in point rolling through here as we go forward. I do just a couple quick things too, and I'll take some questions. I do have a primary opponent, all right, State Senator Jim Oberweis. It's going to be me and him going at it until March 18th to see who's going to take on Durbin. All right. Seems like a good conservative, but he's lost 5 races in the last 11 years. All right. And if we're going to put together a coalition of independents and young people and fiscally conservative Democrats that can take on Dick Durbin, all right, I think your perfect candidate is a 43-year-old West Point grad that owns his own business. That's just what I think. So that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. So couple quick things too. Got the new website up. Please check that out. We're going to second generation of everything on the campaign now. If you like what you hear and you think you're going to vote for me, I need you to get out your Christmas list. I need you to find 100 of your friends and tell them to vote for me. And I'm not kidding. I need 100 of your friends to go vote for me. That's what has to happen. You know, we're taking contributions, obviously. Like us on Facebook. We're on Twitter all the time. We got great content coming out from the campaign. It's all building rapidly. There's a lot of huge momentum pieces that are happening within the campaign now. But I need you to come along. You know, come alongside. And we were talking, you know, the snow and everything, and other people that might have come. That's okay. Just tell them to go to the website. They can see the videos. It's all on there, and just tell them, hey, this is something we need to get behind. Okay, this is a movement. All right, because when we embrace these ideas, it's no longer a campaign. It becomes a cause, right? And that's what it's a cause for the American people, for their prosperity and their future, for all of us. The value that we can all bring to this whole deal by our conservative principles. Right? It's there. We just have to express them and let them know it. And tell them this past thing is just, we got to move on. We got to do something different. So thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. And I want to answer some questions. I know there usually are some, and I want to leave time for that as well. Questions right out of the gate? Anything? My speech was so good that there was.
Did somebody ask Dick Durbin why he hasn't taken the ObamaCare, and he gave some off-the-wall answer about he has to take the federal insurance. Remember hearing that at all, or something to that? Or?
Yeah. They wrote in the exemption for themselves, right? And I believe Durbin let his staff take the exemption, but I think that he was going on the exchanges. Is that right? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he ever did though.
Yeah, so we're going to dig into that.
He said he was going to.
Yeah, so we'll see if that's a reality.
Interviewed about that, he said some off the wall that he can't go on ObamaCare because he has to take the government insurance or.
Yeah, they wrote in the exemption for themselves because they're saying they're on the federal plan, and because the federal plan qualifies, they don't have to go on to, right? But it goes back to the same concept. If they're going to write a law, if the professional politicians are going to write a law, it needs to apply to them first and foremost. Okay, don't talk about we're going to there's other people out there. You know, why don't you guys live with it for a while? Then you let us know how it works out, and then we'll see if you want to change it. You know, so that's the double standard all over the place, no doubt about it. Yeah.
I would just hammer that home anytime you get a chance.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah, we got to get some clarity on exactly, because they're doing their little dance to try to make sure, you know, so because you got to make sure that when you start rolling out there with it, that you got it right, you know, and so we're trying to get that figured out exactly. Yes, sir.
I'd correct your speech and actually say that it is generated